Academic disciplines such as the social sciences, applied sciences, and the humanities all require anyone writing in these disciplines to follow some basic rules or conventions. This video covers rules for writing about literature, which are also referred to as literary conventions. When you are assigned to write about a piece of literature, such as a story, poem, play, or essay, you must specify the title of the work you are discussing, as well as the author. This information must be included in the introduction of your paper. Do not assume your audience knows who or what you are writing about. Use the full name of the author whose work you are writing about when you first mention the author. Then you may either use the full name or the last name of the author. Do not add titles such as Mr., Mrs., Miss, or Ms. to the author's name. Never refer to an author by his or her first name only. You are not BFFs. For example, if you were writing about a poem written by Emily Dickinson, you would make sure that you use her entire name when you first mention her. For example, Emily Dickinson is the author of more than 2,000 poems. After that, you may either use her full name or just her last name. For example, Dickinson is one of America's first modern poets. You would never refer to her simply as Emily or call her Miss Dickinson. The rules for referring to characters in a piece of literature are similar. Pay attention to how the character is referred to in the story, play, or poem. However the character's name is used in a literary work, that is how you should also use it. For example, if a character is referred to by the author as the grandmother, then you would also refer to her as the grandmother. You would not change it to grandma. If a character's name is Fortunato, then you would also refer to him by this name in your writing. You would not change it to something like Mr. Fortunato. Use present tense when discussing the literary work. For example, you would not say, the grandmother was selfish and acted like a child. Instead, you would say, the grandmother is selfish and acts like a child. Think about it this way. You would talk about her as if she's a real person who's alive today. This can be tricky to do, and it may require that some of the quotes you include from the literary work are altered by using ellipses and brackets in order to stay in the correct tense. Do the best you can as you write your first draft, but when you go back to rewrite your paper, check to ensure you are using the correct tense. As you write about the work, remember to keep the focus of your paper on the literary work, not on yourself or people who are not in the work. This means using third-person objective point of view in order to emphasize the work of literature. Do not talk about yourself and use pronouns such as I, me, mine, or my. Do not make vague references to people who are not in the work of literature, which means you can't use pronouns such as you, we, our, or us. Other words such as people and society should be avoided. Who are these people? Are they in the work? If not, then there is no point in talking about them. You will find more information about literary conventions in your grammar or literature text. While these may seem like a lot of small elements to keep track of as you write, remember that during the rewriting process, you can always go back and double-check that you are following these literary conventions. By doing so, you will have a much more polished paper.